Hey guys, it's Pastor Rachel. I'm doing today's Daily Soap, and we are looking at Job 7 and 8. In chapter 7, we see the continuation of Job's angsty rant, I think is probably the best way to describe what's happening in that chapter. He goes on and on about how he just kind of wishes God would just leave him alone and he could suffer quietly by himself. And it's just overwhelming and like discouraging and sad, and I'm sure all of us can relate to some regard when it comes to complaining about the difficulties of life. We probably have not experienced to the extent of Job's suffering, but every single one of us has been in some sort of difficult suffering situation. So reading through that chapter, it feels familiar. But that's not quite what I want to focus on. In chapter 8, we see Bildad, who is Job's friend. We see his response to Job's rant, I guess, for lack of a better word. And that's what I think is a super important thing in these two chapters, is how his friend chooses to respond. I think it makes sense to say that Bildad was Job's hype man, meaning he was the guy who was going to identify the good in the situation and help Job develop a better perspective for looking at what was going on. And we need hype men and hype women in our lives, and we need to be that person for other people as well. 3 simple ways that we can adjust our perspective in difficult situations is, first, we need to choose hope. We absolutely have to look through situations through the lens of hope and understanding that God is good and God is in control. Even when it doesn't seem like both of those things are true, maybe it seems like God is in control and things aren't good, or maybe it seems like things are good but maybe God's not in control. We have to understand that those are inseparable, that God is in control and He is good. Because of that, we get to choose hope. And that is the first step to being a hype man or woman, you know what I mean. The next step is we have to speak life. And what I mean is oftentimes we speak life and encouragement, but it doesn't come from a place of hope. We are scared of difficult outcomes, or scared to sit with someone in their pain, that we tend to just say the right things or the exciting things or the hopeful things, but we don't actually sincerely believe them. So it has to start with us choosing hope, choosing to be hopeful, and then we can speak life. But the final thing I think that is super important with this is we have to seek justice as well. We can't just be the person who goes around and says the nice things and the fun stuff. We have to actively be a part of the solution at times. With that situation with Job, his friend Bildad, there wasn't a whole lot he could have done in that situation to help and restore justice, because it was a weird situation with God. But there are many, many situations in our life where we get to be a part of establishing justice, seeking justice, and creating that. So being a hype man is important. Having those people in your life is important, and the best way to do that is first by choosing joy, and then speaking life, and then seeking justice if that is applicable to the situation. So that's what I want to encourage you guys with today. Those things are important. Please do them. I'm going to pray. God, thank you that you are so incredibly good and that you are in control. And even when we don't see that in the situations in our life, we can hold on to the truth of that. That is who you've always been, and that you are constant in that. I pray that we would be hype men, that we would look at Bildad and we would see how he spoke life into Job, and that he believed, that he chose hope, and that he spoke life into Job. And I just pray that we would be people who do that, but that we would also seek justice in the difficult situations, in the situations that seem unfair, in the situations that are hard and don't make sense and are scary. Help us to seek your will for that. Yeah, amen. That's all. Bye, friends.